We're rolling. Reap the harvest. Back live on the Matt Tack page. What's going
Uh,
on, bro? What's going on?
I quit school because of
Because of
recess,
recess.
dog. I quit school because of recess. Uh,
And you quit because it's a ball.
that's right. I quit school
It's a
because of recess. Yo, what's up, people? What's up, Patty Pat? How you doing,
What's
man?
going on, man? We're broadcasting live all over the world,
Absolutely,
worldwide.
absolutely, man. And I'll tell you what. This is what I wanted to come to today. Comparison is the thief of joy. I wanted to talk a little bit about that because, man, is it ever the thief of joy? I was in a couple masterminds yesterday. I know I always talk about masterminds. I always try to surround myself with the best people. But I want to talk a little bit about how comparison is the thief of joy. We came up 10 with tax, so we're not going to go over 10 minutes. I'm just going to just empower you, try to bring you some value today, as we're chilling here, chilling with my little one. But establishing that why early on is so important. I established my why. I write it down. I read it every morning. It's part of my routine. Something that actually I put today was how I get up and make my bed, right? I make my bed, but I make my bed with a purpose. I want my bed to look like my life, how I organize my life. So I want my bed made in such a way. I was actually teaching my little one, this little girl, her name's Genevieve. I was teaching her how to make a bed even this morning. I was like, I want to wake up and I want to make my bed, because I was even explaining this to my brother. I was a masterminding with my brother a little bit. I love my brother. I want to talk about him and definitely bring him on the podcast soon. But the one thing I said to him, I was like, when I wake up, it just gives me perspective. It gives me a really good attitude. It gives me positive momentum right off the very beginning of the day. And then when I lay my head down at night, I go through the affirmations of how grateful I am for my life. And I'm extremely grateful for everything God has provided for me. And I can't say I'm the wealthiest guy in the world, nor do I want to be, right? But the one thing I do have of great, great wealth is my perspective. What's between my ears, right? Being positive, just being so thankful. And I always talk about my wife. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like I am like so overly optimistic on life, is because I get to share experiences with her. So every night, every single night, I go to my bed, I realize that I made my bed that morning, and that was what's creating the positive attitude. And then ultimately, I come down and I just kiss her, right? I just kiss her because I want to empower her. She doesn't even know it. She's passed out. She usually goes to bed before me. But I just kiss her. I kiss her about 10 or 15 times before I lay my head down. The reason why I do that is because I had a problem. I had a problem, 5, 10 years ago, really 5 years ago, where I didn't have that perspective. I wanted to play it Matt style. I wanted to do, the cynical thing Matt does. My eyes were wandering. I wanted things. I wanted whatever, the best of the best. And I look at these guys on Facebook, and granted, dude, it would be awesome to have a Rolls Royce. It'd be awesome to have a Lamborghini in my friend. But is that my priority? Is that established in my why? No, it's not established in my why. What's established in my why is my wife and my kids. And that's my purpose. And that's what I establish every day as far as why I work and why it's hard. I work hard. I work hard, very, very hard. And quite honestly, sometimes maybe even I work a little bit too hard. But I know what I'm working on, right? And I think working hard and then making working too hard. When I say working too hard, maybe I identified even yesterday, right? I worked probably I want to say I probably worked about 15, 16 hours yesterday, but I worked it on actually the wrong thing, right? I worked on not my why. I actually was working, we were training people. We got brought on into a few new resources this week. And then I also I went live, right? And was talking to it's everybody else. But I did ask my wife, I was like, is it cool if I go live real quick? So I did want to communicate with her, but that's one of the reasons why we just purpose our relationship so well in our marriage, is because I established that, right? I got to communicate with that. There, yo, are you cool with me going live? So I just wanted to make sure like that was appropriate, because I knew I had already worked probably, anywhere, probably 15 hours that day. I just worked late into the night. I was working till about midnight last night, just shooting out text, because we are raising capital for a big, pretty big initiative right now. So it was just one of those things where I had to establish my purpose and my why, but then get an okay from it. And so I just want to encourage you. Comparison is the thief of joy. Don't compare. I see a lot of these people. I actually hopped into one and had to hop out of one the other day. I was in a call, and it just wasn't going very well. It was part of a kind of a group I'm in, and I've been thinking about actually pulling out of that one for quite some time now. But like, it just wasn't going very well, and it didn't fit my mojo. I think there's a lot to do with it. I think there's a lot of people that that serve the comparison game within that group, is that they establish in things. And one of the things that comes to mind that somebody brought up the other day is if you put your why or your hope in temporary things, your happiness is going to be temporary, right? And that's so big. And Pat, if you could throw that up, bro, that's so massive, right? We definitely want to make sure that our things aren't in temporary things. We want to make sure that they're in eternal things, right? That our purpose is going to be a lot bigger than us. So comparison is just such a crazy game. And I call them Mastermind. Sometimes there's just like a perspective that I call a mastermind, because a mastermind does come out of it when you're just dialoguing with people. And one of those people is like my brother. My brother he has a really good sense of encouragement. He also is just one of the guys that like you just want to be around. It was his birthday a couple weeks back. I posted on my personal page about that. But he's just a dude that like everyone wants to be around, that you call family. And I'm blessed enough to call him family. But one of the things that has shaped me in my life, and I just had to encourage him today, was my brother came out at the age of, I think he was like 17 or 18 years old. And I didn't know how to handle it. I'm like, oh, this is weird. Everyone's telling me, oh, that's weird, and he actually got kicked out of my house. I love my parents. That's just the decision they made at that time. I don't know if they would do it today, but like, he was actually kicked out of my house. And my brother just had all this like confidence and autonomy to like go do something else. Like, he just made it him, right? And then he would come to school. We went to the same high school together, and he was one of those dudes that like, he was such a minority, right? He turned into like this people where like people were just splitting hate at him. Man, our relationship has cultivated so much where I know I didn't handle that situation very well. I could have been there for my brother more. I could have backed him up. But my brother has ultimately shaped my life for me to be where I am now, in my 30s, to really say, like, dude, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being such a huge proponent in my life to like build this sense of confidence that is just, I mean, it's been absolutely amazing, right? In my transformation and what I consider my story and how I established my why. And he's so important and so vital, and I appreciate him. So shout out, Adam. Love you, brother. But it's one of those things where I just want it to be a sense of encouragement to you, that establish your why early on. I know I talk about why a lot, but establish your why of why, and make it eternal. Don't make it temporary. But then also don't have this comparison game, right? We always want to be in our growth phase, always be getting better, always be looking to obtain more. We never want to plateau by any means. We always want to be in growth mode. We do want to plateau every once in a while, right? We want to plateau to acclimate with our environment. But then we just want to constantly seek growth. Like, one of the things that comes to mind again, right? Learners are earners. Always be learning, but you want to adapt and just grab onto the people that can lead you in the right direction, right? And so I just want to come here and encourage you. Don't compare yourself. Everyone's situation's different, man. I got 3 kids under 3 right now. It's going crazy in our household. But at the same time, dude, like, my purpose and my why is so much greater, that like all the craziness aside and all the frustration that might go on in a given day, that's so temporary, because I have a momentum. I have a shift all the time where I am the controller of my attitude. I'm the controller of how I react to things. And then when I don't react to things very well, man, I can look people in the eye and just say, hey, that wasn't a good situation. That wasn't a good reaction. I'm going to take ownership of that. Something happened in business the other day that didn't reflect good on our business. And I just had to say, dude, that's on me. I actually overlooked that, dude. I am so sorry. I called the investor up. I said, I am so sorry we overlooked that. And I definitely want to make sure that we can clear things up going forward and we maintain this relationship. He's like, dude, thank you so much for taking ownership of that. I appreciate that. And then the other thing, I mean, as we go through this time, I know there's a lot of investors out there. Make sure you treat your investors well. I shared a text today on my Instagram, but You know, I paid some of my PM money a little bit early. I wanted to pay him a little bit early, make sure I was there. Hey man, haven't forgot about you. I appreciate you. So I know that's a little bit off topic, but just make sure you do that. Make sure you have some private money out there. Make sure you're treating your investors well. Make sure you're reaching out to them, show you how much you appreciate them. So guys, man, we out from Reap the Harvest. I just want to give you a little bit of encouragement today. Appreciate Pat, my boy, Acoustic Force. But dude, I quit school because of recess. I quit school because of recess.
You love that line.
But dude, I love it. We out. Reap the harvest, man. Start planting those seeds, baby. We talk
Plant those seeds. And remember, I mean, when you're online, I mean, all you're going to see is a highlight reel from people anyway. So it can be easy for you to look at Instagram feed especially and see everybody,
Amen,
you know, taking pictures at the barbecue pit and in front of the pool and having a great time. And there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, just remember there's struggles behind all those pictures. So don't get caught up in the buzz.
Don't get caught up in the buzz. Don't get
Rock
caught
on.
Love it. Thank you for
she's
that,
been good.
She
She earned that treat today. Anyway, share the stream, subscribe to the podcast on all podcast sites, and we'll see y'all next time. Later, Matt.
All right, baby. Later. Peace.